The sun is shining as two teams walk out on the field. A perfect day for USL Championship soccer from MSU Soccer Park on ESPN+. David Goss and Connor Lade with you for this one. New York Red Bull Sioux hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And Connor, you look at this game, and it's two teams trying to rebound from tough losses in the last week with some great history.
You know, great history is an understatement. This is, today, it almost looks a little bit David versus Goliath, the way New York has played so far this season, still looking for their first home win, and a perennial powerhouse in the USL like Tampa Bay Rowdies. But whenever these two teams meet, fireworks.
It's been USL Eastern Conference Championships, extra times, penalty kicks. It's been incredible. But for Tampa, coming off that loss in Open Cup midweek, a big moment for the club, and they're going to look to a New York Red Bull 2 player on loan, the Agent of Chaos, Jake LaCava.
Agent of Chaos, I love it. That nickname is transformed. Jake LaCava is back. I'm sure he's going to be very excited to play against his team that he's currently on loan from in Red Bull 2, but he has taken the league by storm so far this year. 3 goals leading the team. He's had an incredible, you can see the press, the Red Bull press there in Tampa Bay. He's had a great start to his form with Tampa Bay Rowdies so far, and I know he's going to be excited to be back here today.
And on the flip side, trying to keep him out is really the senior statesman for this team, AJ Marcucci.
AJ Marcucci, you know, so much of the success so far this year has run through AJ Marcucci. He's kept them in a lot of games, made it closer than they have been. We know an uncharacteristic performance last game, which I know he felt. Everyone top to bottom felt throughout the locker room, but we know he's going to have a big performance here today, and what a matchup to test yourself against with Jake LaCava.
What an incredible game we have in store when these two teams match up. It has always been good in their history. Tampa Bay Rowdies trying to continue a hot streak, though, under Neil Collins against this Red Bull 2 team. We'll be back with all your first half action and lineups coming up in just a moment here on ESPN+.
In 2020, in the very beginning, we had people banging pots and pans outside. This time around, I've had people spit at me. I've had people scream at me.
People just don't understand it unless you're there.
I come into work just wanting to help my patients.
We are building our team back again, and we are building it back stronger and stronger.
You really love what you do, so you stick to it.
Raffanello with the shot now, and New York Red Bulls 2 take the lead. Forbes one-on-one with Marcucci, and it's saved again.
This guy has ice in his veins.
And it's in. What a finish. The teenager in front of his academy teammates. David Goss, Connor Lade with you here in the shadows, but it's a gorgeous day for soccer. We are so glad all of you are joining us. Big high five there.
Yeah.
Big man Connor Lade with us on this one. Let's take a look at our starting lineups for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. A little bit of rotation because of that Open Cup game midweek, but still a ton of stars.
Ton of stars in this team and a ton of stars on the bench, so you can expect to see a lot of these names make appearances today, but I've got my eyes on Hilton here today. The engine in this team makes a lot of things happen, covers a ton of ground, and you know he's going to have an absolute battle in the midfield today with, if you look across the field from him, Daniel Edelman. He's going to be matched up today. I am expecting some big tackles in there today, some big moments, and then you can see throughout the rest of this Red Bulls 2 lineup, get John Felipe back in the lineup, who's had a really good start to the year. It's been unfortunate to get pulled sometimes with the mass amount of red cards that they've had, but Jesus Castellano, another player I've got my eyes on today, making his second appearance for the team, showed a lot of promise in the last game.
Craig Cragwell getting his first start since one of those red cards here at MSU Soccer Park. For this one, as we take a look at our coaches, Gary Lewis, his first season as the head coach of New York Red Bull Sioux, still looking to get their first home goal of the season, so a lot of work for them to do, but he has been hopeful. And on the flip side, Neil Collins, his 5th season as a head coach, and all of them have been successful. And as we said, some great matchups against Red Bull too.
Absolutely great matchups, and Neil Collins, obviously the success he's had has been incredible. Really created almost one of the gold standards in USL, the way that they've performed over the years. And Gary Lewis, yeah, looking for the first big home win, and what a better way to have it than today.
The New York Red Bulls in their black and red kits, going left to right on your screens. Tampa Bay Rowdies, not easy to miss them. The neon yellow out there on the field under the sunlight as these two teams get kicked off, both looking to bounce back with wins here. Tampa did get a win in USL Championship action last week against FC Tulsa. It was a 3-1 win for them, but a devastating, you could say, 2-1 loss to Orlando City. A great Florida matchup rivalry there on Tuesday night in Open Cup play. And Connor, for a lot of teams, that's one of 3 trophies you can win. It's a big opportunity. It's one that a big club like Tampa is looking for. How do you rebound now into league play and still sort of keep a high level?
Yeah, I think obviously you see a ton of rotation here today from Tampa Bay, and they've got an incredible squad that they can pull and really be seamless, which whoever guy steps into that lineup. And obviously you got a ton of talents off the bench, but it's not easy to rebound from a game like that, because Tampa Bay, they pride themselves on being able to compete with MLS teams in Open Cup, and they did so against Orlando City. And so it's, bitter taste still in their mouth, but they still have a lot to play for. Very high still in the standings, and they want to get back to winning ways and be dominant within this USL. So I think they're hoping for a big road win here today.
And it does mean they have a ton of dangerous pieces on the bench for this game as they fly forward. Armin with the early cross to the far post. Harris knocking it down, and it'll go off a Red Bull player and out for a corner kick. So Jordan Scarlett, obviously experienced defender on the bench, but Junior Eto, Leo Fernandez, Duba dos Santos, and Sebastian Guenzati alongside Lucky M. Kosana. Basically 6 game changers that could come off the bench for Tampa because of that rotation, especially in the attack. But quality on the field, we talked about Lewis Hilton, maybe the best set-piece server in the entire USL Championship, standing over this corner kick here. Hilton curls it in, knocked down, bouncing in the box, and finally cleared away. It was Connor Antley who got a touch to it with his head. Sirwada beaten by Armin. Tejada battling in the corner. Tampa keeping it in. LaCava shot! And caught by Marcucci, but had some spin on it.
Jake LaCava making a big impact early on in this match. Big knuckler. Caught Marcucci, step to his right and knuckled back a little bit, but you give space to Jake LaCava and he's going to make you pay, especially against his old team.
The Tampa press working once again. Greg's shot is blocked, that time by Cragwell. And out, so 2 teams playing with 3 center backs out there. A little bit of a different shape, 3-5-2, 3-4-3. A ton of similarities for this one.
You can expect both teams are going to be very aggressive in the press today. You can already see Tampa Bay. When you have a guy like Tejada up top, he's a handful. And the center backs, you don't have a lot of time on the ball. And so Jake LaCava obviously has that in his blood as well through the Red Bull system to pressing. So you can expect both teams are going to be very aggressive.
Great fan section here for the Rowdies, as well as Hilton floats another ball in. Popped up in the air. And now Sirwada looking to start the counterattack. Turns it over. He's able to push it out wide to Mullings. Avante Mullings, the converted fullback there.
I'll give you a mulligan on the name.
Wow, and you got the full golf outfit on too. Connor Lade rolling off the links here for a broadcast. Unbelievable action.
You wondered why I was a little late in the build-up.
So the foul goes there. Connor, it's been one of the stories we've been watching this season is his conversion to right back. Now 6 starts, his first 6 times playing there, and you could see why the Red Bulls are excited to try and push him to that position. As LaCava early ball played into the hands of Marcucci.
Yeah, Avante Mullings is obviously, I loved on that last possession what he did on that corner kick. You see him immediately sprinting out in transition.
Opportunity now. Castellano pushing into the attack. Trip from behind. Matt Thompson blows the whistle. and a free kick in a dangerous area coming for New York Red Bulls 2. This has been a Red Bull 2 Tampa game to start.
This is it. This is going to be a game won and lost in transition. And obviously, Jesus Castellano with an incredible run. And White takes him down. And I think he's lucky to stay out of the books there because this is a big moment for New York Red Bull 2. Gets caught up a little bit. But that's what I love from Jesus Castellano. He's always looking forward. Gets out on the run. You could see, shows a little bit of strength there to hold off White as well because it looked like he had a clear path to the ball. But sets up a good opportunity. And Jeremy Raffanello here. Wouldn't be surprised if we see another shot on frame from him.
First yellow card of the game shown to Wyke. Raffanello and Pendant standing over this one. Pendant with the left foot. Raffanello, one of the best shooters from distance. And it's rolled over to Raffanello, and his shot is blocked immediately. Looked like Kyle Gregg there, right on top of that one.
It was a great anticipation from Greg there. A little disguise there from Jeremy Raffanello.
Very Jesse Marsh.
Very Jesse Marsh-esque. Gives him a pat on the back. Say good luck with this shot, and Jason Pendant rolls it to him. But Greg with great anticipation gets out and blocks, and here Red Bull 2 with the corner kick here.
So Pendant will serve this one in. No fake this time. Ball comes in, headed away once again by Greg. Slide tackle by Sirwada to win it back for New York. Edelman, his second appearance with the Red Bulls 2 this season after 2 appearances in Major League Soccer to open the year at San Jose and at Toronto FC. And Connor, over the last year and a half, he's become the engine of this Red Bull 2 team when he's with them.
Absolutely. Daniel Edelman, obviously a standout performer last year in the 2021 campaign, but this year, obviously, he hasn't had a ton of minutes with New York Red Bull 2 because he has had time with the MLS side. He's been with U20 camps, and so he's starting to get back to some consistency. Last game, he played not the whole match, but obviously you could tell right off the bat, coming into the squad being confident, and obviously you give all the confidence to the players around you when you know you have a player like that covering a ton of ground and being a leader in the midfield.
Yeah, Gary says in training he's lifted the level of everyone else, just seeing how much he's improved and sort of what the target is if you want to get to that homegrown MLS contract and get to that ability that Daniel Edelman's shown. Led the team in minutes last year as Conte outrunning Tejada to that one.
It's going to be a big talking point here today with the 3 center backs in this New York Red Bull 2 system. Getting that shift. You got to get that shift because, you know, Conte, he's going to be coming, but when Juan Castillo releases, he's got to be coming. You can see Tejada was licking his lips. He had a ton of space there, so you got to make sure that you are connected throughout this back 5 and make sure that shift is tight, or else you're going to get exposed by Tampa Bay.
First time we've seen Red Bulls 2 play this way this year. You've seen Gerhard Struber's side play this almost every game over the last now year.
Right. I think it's a good system if you do it right.
Yeah.
But you can be exposed. You need to make sure you got guys in the midfield who can cover a ton of ground and fill those spaces between. But it gives a ton of access for the center backs to be aggressive. The 2 outside center backs can really release, be aggressive, stepping into the midfield, knowing that you have cover behind yourself.
Cragwell goes back to Marcucci here. Marcucci first time up the field. A little soccer tennis as this one's knocked down. Able to be saved but turned over. Now the Rowdies looking to build once again. And you do have the one similarity of you've seen a Dylan Nealis, a Tom Edwards, Andrew Gutman, natural fullbacks play those wide spots. And we have Juan Castillo here who's slowly converting from a fullback, but similar player as one of those 3 center backs.
Absolutely, and I think that's going to be a good combination here today with Castillo and Pendant on the left side. I think Jason Pendant, we haven't seen a ton of service come from the left side, and I'd love to see him being more aggressive. And that's exactly what you have license to do in this system. So I expect Evante Mullings and Jason Pendant to be flying up the wings here today.
Getting 10 minutes played here. New York Red Bulls 2 still looking for their first home goal of the season. The attack has come on slow. They do have Jordan Adebayo-Smith on the bench, who is on loan from the Tampa Bay Rowdies to New York Red Bulls 2 in place of this man, Jake LaCava, as LaCava's flying forward. LaCava has it tipped away by Conte, gets it wide for Armin. Armin's cross cleared up into the air by Cragwell. Mullings not able to connect, and it was out of bounds anyway, so it'll be a corner kick. Jake LaCava immediately showing in this game why he was a leader in the attack for Red Bulls 2 over the last 2 years.
Yeah, Jake LaCava getting on the run, gets it caught up between his feet a little bit there, but you know he's going to attract a lot of numbers around him, so it's not necessarily only stopping him, but when he attracts all these numbers, it's going to be the guys around you. Are you giving help? And so it's going to be a big talking point in this match.
Hilton once again. Another dangerous service in the box. Marcucci comes out to take this one on the top of the 6. He will slow things up as New York pushes their lines up. LaCava, 5 goals in 2020. His debut year with New York Red Bulls 2, 6 goals, 3 assists last year for New York Red Bulls 2. Him and Omar So leading the attack over the last 2 years.
It's big shoes to fill, for sure, and I think they're excited about Jordan Adebayo-Smith coming in, and I think it gives more room for Jeremy Raffanello to take a bigger part of this offense, not having Jake LaCava here, and obviously, yes, he's on loan, but I think it's going to be important for him to take those next steps and prove that, you know, he can be that guy in this offense.
Greg with the through ball here for Harris. Dayon Harris drives it in, but into the arms of Marcucci.
Tampa Bay has been showing some very nice combinations in the attack so far today, unlocking this Red Bull 2 defense.
Felipe for the through ball to Raffanello, who puts the pressure on. Wyke all the way back and out for a corner kick. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with at www.selectsportamerica.com. Select's League's Choice, Player's Choice. As you see Raffanello dribbling that Select ball over to the corner. He will have Pendant by him once again as an option. All 11 players back to defend this for Tampa. As the 3 center backs are in the box to challenge. Raffanello drives it in, goes through the hands there, and now cleared away. Arozarena, that was his first touch of the game in goal. Not able to take it cleanly. And LaCava now trying to press back the other way. Marcucci lets that one fly. And I think we've seen some good teams here at MSU Soccer Park so far this season. I think Louisville may be the best team we've seen breaking the press. Tampa might be the best press we've seen themselves.
Agreed. I think this is going to be the best pressing probably game we've seen in a long time from these two sides. Whenever they get on the same field, you know it's going to be basically the way for Red Bull, how they train every single day. Red Bull versus Red Bull system, and Tampa Bay obviously has a ton of talent, but also a ton of aggression in the press, and so sets up for nothing but an exciting match for us to commentate on.
The 3 forwards are going every time they lose the ball. As Felipe now in some space. And he's closed down well there in the midfield by Jan Ekra. Ekra, one of the differences in this team, one of the all-time leaders in appearances in USL Championship history, over 250 career appearances. Jonathan Felipe, this is his 3rd appearance in USL Championship, and he's one of the oldest players on the team.
A little staggering different there, but yeah, I think Jonathan Felipe has been a big leader in this team as well because there is a ton of youth, and you don't have a lot of older guys to look to, and especially when there is rotation with guys going back up to the MLS side and guys going back down to the academy, you need those guys within the team that are stable, that are guys that you can look to always and know exactly what you're going to get from him, and I think this is a great opportunity for him today, like we talked about in the pregame. He's been that guy who's kind of gotten pulled when they've gotten red cards. So I'm excited to see a longer string of minutes for him because when he has had those minutes, he's shown that he can be dangerous.
Yeah, you talk about the movement across the club. 6 new academy players announced as part of Red Bull 2 this week. Only one, Eric Ruiz, starting training with the team this week, but you've had Curtis Afori, who's been a starter for this team, called up to the youth national team at GA Cup 2 weeks ago, so unavailable for this game. Sam Williams now on the bench. So as you said, a lot of movement, not just up and down across this club. So this group still sort of establishing their identity and their culture. John Felipe took everyone bowling well.
That's what I'm talking about. That's
Lead the way.
That's the leader you need. Taking the boys out for bowling, get the mood right before a big game like this. That's exactly what you need.
Wyke now stepping into space, pushing forward. That's out in the middle of the field on Ekra's chest. Ekra's shot is blocked. Sirwada with the clearance. Dangerous moment there for Tampa's everyone in the attacking half. Raffanello with the block. The foul will go against him as Matt Thompson right on top of this one.
Yeah, big challenge there from Jim Raffanello, who's walking away pleading that he got the ball.
Aaron Guillen, who has been one of the best defenders in the USL Championship since coming over from FC Dallas. He's the one coming up a little limp on that one.
I think you can expect Jeremy Raffanello leaving those studs in that tackle. Always a little bit dangerous and gets a talking to here.
Raffanello, maybe a little more freedom in the attack, at least a different role from him. He's been the 10 the last few weeks. Now he's part of this 2-forward setup.
Yeah, I think I like this role. I mean, obviously very versatile in where he can play in the attack and who knows, even on defense as well. But I think this allows him a little bit more freedom to stretch those legs a little bit and show that speed.
Harris not able to catch up to that one. Similar to what we've seen, I think, LaCava and So play in that 2-forward setup where they can kind of find the game. That feels like what Raffanello is going to get to do today.
Absolutely, and I'm looking for that space behind him when he does open up these spaces. Jesus Castellano being that guy who's picking up those second balls and has the ability to go 1v1 at the defense and put them on their heels. That's going to be a big, and you can see he's asking for the ball. He's pleading. He's in this zone, which is very tough, right? He's staying close to Jeremy Raffanello just underneath him, which is tough for the 3 center backs to do because then there's going to be some crossover. So there needs to be big communication there. But I think for New York Red Bull 2, they're going to have to find him more often.
Wyke is taking the space in front of him confidently so far in this one. For the Tampa Bay Rowdies, an appearance in the USL Championship game last season. Heartbreaking loss to Orange County, but Orange County will be back in action as Indy 11 races to the Midwest to face off with Orange County. Don't miss that game coming up 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN Deportes. So big USL Championship action on the ESPN family of networks as Indy 11 for the first season under Mark Lowry facing off against an Orange County team that came up against a buzzsaw in LAFC in Open Cup play midweek. We'll talk more about the Open Cup and some incredible cup sets, both in the USL Championship and USL League One. Former Red Bull 2 goalkeeper Rashid Nuhu with the big performance in the penalty kick shootout to knock off Chicago Fire for Union Omaha, John Murphy's former club. Murphy on the bench here for Red Bulls 2. As Ekra now strides forward, ball clipped in. Pendant the first one to it. Wyke stepping forward now. Space for Wyke. His cross headed away. Hilton out wide. Mullings with the interception. And Mullings starting the attack. Castellano can't bring that one into his path. And Tampa wins it back.
I'd love to see a little bit more awareness there from Jesus Castellano. There was so much room for him to just sprint into, and I think that's exactly what Daniel Edelman was looking for him because there was a huge gap there, and if he really takes off there, he could be 1v1 with the keeper, but holds up that run a little bit, looking for a defeat. But I think these are the moments that Gary Lewis has talked about, you know, choosing that right option, and it's not only for the passer, but what run you're going to take. And for a young team who hasn't been that dangerous, who's looking for their first home goal, you have to take chances.
Jesus Castellano, his second appearance here in the United States after coming over from Venezuela, just 18 years old. Signed by New York Red Bulls earlier this year. Made his debut against RGV in the last game. So a young international player trying to find his feet. We saw Christian Casares, his success in the USL Championship coming from Venezuela. Wiki Carmona last year as well. Castellano trying to be the next of that generation. Edgardo Rito, former Venezuelan Red Bull 2 player. Team of the week for Oakland Roots. as he has finally returned from his injury. Some brutal ankle injuries for him, and one of the most fun, I think, fullbacks I've ever watched play.
Yeah, Rito was instant highlight reel anytime he was on the field, and a huge smile on his face. So we're happy to see him back on the field and playing a big part of that Oakland Roots team.
Leon Harris will leave that one to be thrown in by Wyke. Pendant heads it in the middle. Hilton closing it down. Sirwada wings it back. Mullings now to the feet of Felipe. Felipe gets out of some trouble. Now back to Felipe. New York knocks it around. Really the first time in this game in the attack. Tejada putting the pressure on. Cragwell up to Raffanello. Sirwada now up to Castellano. New York Red Bulls 2 pressuring to win it back. Raffanello strides forward. The through ball deflected and into the safe arms there of Arozarena.
Yeah, that's much better from New York Red Bulls. A better string of possession there, which Gary Lewis, I know that's been a big emphasis for him as well, is being better with the ball, because there's nothing worse in this system when you've been pressing and running and really doing all that dirty work, is giving away easy balls in possession, because then that work starts all over again. So better string of possession there and a good opportunity. Obviously, defense gets a deflection on that, but I love the run from Jason Pendant being super aggressive to get on that back line and make sure he's running in behind and threatening. So better opportunity there for New York, and that's what I think they should be building on.
Wyke curves this ball into the path of Greg. Greg cuts it back, pulled back to LaCava. LaCava's shot just over the crossbar. It took a deflection. It'll be a corner kick.
Great opportunity there from Tampa Bay Rowdies, and I think that's something in the three-back system. When I'm talking about those guys can be aggressive, that's where you need to be aggressive. Jake LaCava is pulling off that back line, and they're staying flat. No one is stepping out to him there. And so obviously you get a late step out, but that can be a goal. With the quality that Jake LaCava has, that can be an easy goal. So you need to sort that out in a three-back system, which who is stepping out to that and being aggressive.
LaCava's been hunting that goal there on the top of the box in the early part of this game. Hilton quickly to the feet of Armin. Now the top of the box. Wyke with space, curls it to the far post, brought down, and the offside flag is up. That goal will not count, but you do hear the cheer of the large Tampa Bay Rowdies contingent. I think a lot of them potentially related to Leo Fernandez or Sebastian Guenzati, two locals in the team. Jordan Scarlett as well.
Jake LaCava, you got who you know, you can pick from a lot of them. I would say
Listen,
a lot of local talent in this Tampa Bay Rowdies team.
There is no more trafficked a route than New York to Florida, and especially New York to Tampa Bay. It's just
It's natural.
Yeah. Normally not 20 years old like Jake LaCava. Normally it happens on the other end of the spectrum. Connor's already dressed for it.
I mean, that's it. It's golfing season, baby.
I'm more of a Sarasota guy over here.
I'll head down to Jupiter. That's where I'm going.
Big
Good
tackle.
golf.
Big tackle there from Sirwada on Ekra. As Thompson, our head official, will put the spot down for the free kick. And the yellow card coming. So the second yellow card of the game. First for a New York Red Bull 2 player. And Steven Sirwada shown 2 yellow cards against Atlanta United 2 earlier this season for a red card. Something to watch out for there. You mentioned the amount of coverage that central midfield pairing has to make.
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I don't think that was a yellow card. I think it, got enough of the ball there. I think we've seen some other tackles so far in this first half that could have been yellow cards, but you know what? Steven Sirwada, obviously big coverage for sure. Him and Daniel Edelman, they're going to cover a ton of ground. So obviously Ugandan internationals are going to be a big part of this midfield.
Armin with the free kick, headed away by Cragwell. Ekra picking up the second ball. He'll float this one in. Wyke challenging, flicked on. Tejada battling on the back post with Cragwell. Cragwell able to do enough to keep the shot away. Hilton now, his shot is blocked. Beautiful back heel there from, it looked like Antley.
And New York Red Bull 2 got a little bit lucky there. Cragwell, a little bit casual with Tejada on his back. That's someone you don't want to give time and space to. And so lucky that he got tripped up a little bit and Looks like it fell on top of the ball, but I think it's another big opportunity. Tampa Bay Rowdies has been knocking on the door. Obviously, an offside set-piece goal, but you got to be careful here. This is the time they smell blood. You know they're going for goals.
This is what Tampa's done so well over the last 5 matchups against New York Red Bulls too. It has been one of the best streaks for a team in this matchup, in this rivalry. But these killer goals, when you have the momentum, especially in the first half, we've seen for Tampa that have been able to keep them ahead of Red Bulls too in all these matchups.
Yeah, not many teams you'd want to go down to more than or less than Tampa Bay Rowdies.
It was Jordan Adebayo-Smith against the run of play last year in the first game these two teams played here at MSU Soccer Park for the Tampa Bay Rowdies that gave them the lead that they were able to play off of. And as you said, it's a difficult team to break down. Tejada can't bring that one under control. Juan Tejada and Craig Cragwell, both Panamanian youth internationals, yet to play together. But has not made under 20 and under 23 play very simple. They're hoping to get back in the swing of things for Panama somewhat soon. I mentioned Curtis Afori called up to the other 19 national team. A couple of Red Bull Academy players called up to the U15 national team as well, headed to Italy, I believe. Davi Alessandre and Nate Worth, a part of that group.
My boy Nate Worth.
Best free kick taker in the youth academy setup.
I mean,
have you heard of James Ward-Prowse?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
The American James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, that's it.
Every Red Bull Academy coach will tell you that. As Greg here in the corner. Can't find the feet of White. Red Bulls work out of that pressure. Felipe up the line. Castellano can't pressure that one. So midway through this first half, we saw Tampa come out on fire the opening 10 minutes. Now that offside goal, the half chances, but a drop in maybe tempo and energy from these two teams here in this 25 to 30 minute range.
Yeah, I think you put such a big emphasis on starting strong, especially when these two teams match up. You want to get on the upper foot and put them in a tough game right away, and there is going to be a lull here. And so I think it's important that you got to keep making statements throughout this match, and I'd love to see New York Red Bull 2 commit more numbers going forward in the attack. You can tell when Felipe gets the ball or Serwada, it's just the attacks are dying, and you don't have enough numbers to sustain, especially against an experienced backline.
Hilton slices this one to the far post. Big punch from Marcucci. Second ball, Wykes crosses block. Now Felipe into the attack. Castellano trying to lead the counter and cleanly taken away by Wyke.
And those are the moments. Those are the moments you need to have guys sprinting forward. Obviously, you see Steven Serwada and Jeremy Raffanello going, but there just has to be more of a commitment to getting out in transition and dominating that transition aspect of the game.
LaCava now into space the other way. His cross over the head of everyone. It'll roll all the way through the field for a throw-in. And you talked in the open about the wingbacks, an opportunity to attack. We have, outside of the one opportunity for Pendant, we haven't seen either of them really involved.
No, and I think that's something that is what I'm watching now for sure. I think you need to have confidence from your center backs behind you that are pushing you to go and letting you know, because they're getting pinned back right now from the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and you need to let them release, and those three center backs need to spread out a little bit and be able to cover those numbers. So a lot of that confidence to release is from your center back telling you to go.
And here you've got Castillo putting that ball on a plate for Pendant into the attack. Castellano back to Pendant. Pendant continuing his run. Castellano into his path. And read well and closed down there by Antley. It'll be a corner kick once again for New York Red Bulls 2. We saw Rosarina get his hands on the last corner kick. And
I think it took a deflection off of Jason Pendant.
so quickly taking goal kick for Rosarina. And now Tampa building out of the back. Tejada puts the pressure on. Castillo holding him off. And Tejada pokes it out. And as you said, he is a nightmare all game, full of energy.
Yeah, he's a handful for sure. And I think that's what makes him so good in the system. All the dirty work he puts off the ball, but also when he gets on it in the box, you know, he's got the quality to punish you.
Guillen, the captain's armband on, heads that one back up the field. Greg down the line for LaCava. LaCava on his horse once again. And that cross beats Marcucci, but no one on the far post. Recycled attack here for Ekra. Ekra's cross blocked immediately, but makes it all the way back to Wyke. Wyke floats this one in. Marcucci watches it go over the crossbar.
Yeah, Jake LaCava has been dangerous in this match so far. He's finding room between the two center backs, and you know the quality he has and the speed he has. And I think that's a lot what has been pinning back this entire New York Red Bulls 2 defense. And I think they don't want to give up too much space because they know there's a lot of quality on that front line. And so it's going to be a tricky one to play here today. But you've got to have trust in yourself as a defender to really allow the people in front of you.
The Rowdies off the turnover on the attack again. LaCava out wide here for Harris. Harris's shot pushed over the crossbar by Marcucci. Corner kick coming.
Another fantastic opportunity from Tampa Bay, and you can tell this goal seems to be coming here for them. Harris, yeah, you might whip one across the face, but you know what? The outside back, you get in the box, why not put one on frame and test A.J. Marcucci, who really, as much as the attack has been very dominant for Tampa Bay, he hasn't had a ton of challenge.
Hilton floats that one in. Marcucci takes it. And you mentioned LaCava. It feels like one of the things coming out of Red Bulls 2, going on loan to Tampa, he was working with us. He was so straight line. The way he's shaping his runs, he's staying on side, but he's getting around the back line. It's been really impressive so far in this game. The nuance to his game that he was sort of been working on the last 2 years.
And I think that's exactly what you want to see from when you loan a player. You want to see that player grow, and that's exactly what you've seen from Jake LaCava. And you know, you want to make that decision difficult for not only the team you're on loan from, and if you don't think Jake LaCava had this date marked on his calendar, I mean, that's obviously a big one for him. But I think you want to prove that, you know, you loaned me. This is why you shouldn't have. Right. And if you want me back, you know, this is what I can offer you.
Tejada now off the pass from Ekra. Tejada to his right foot. Marcucci with the save.
Great stop there from A.J. Marcucci, but New York Red Bull 2 needs to make this life difficult for Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're all over them right now, and you can see Tejada too much time in the box between two Red Bull 2 defenders. But A.J. Marcucci comes up with a big save, and Daniel Edelman is down.
So Daniel Edelman, after this play happened, he sat down and laid down like this. I'm not sure if it's contact, if it's fatigue. We mentioned it, 2 sub appearances in MLS to start the year against San Jose and Toronto FC, about 10 minutes in either of those games, and then didn't play in an active game until last weekend. Almost 70 minutes against RGV, and now getting about 35 minutes here so far. If he's not able to continue, there are options on the bench. Sam Williams, who's been the starter in central midfield, the academy player, as well as John Murphy and Michael Knapp. But Daniel Edelman, we talked about, he is a huge bonus for this team, and it would be heartbreaking for them and for him to see him go out.
Yeah, it'd be a big loss. Daniel Edelman can't continue here today, and I think, yeah, then you hit the nail on the head there. Not having consistent minutes. I mean, he goes to U20 camp, and there's a lot of travel there. Go down to Argentina, come back. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind year so far for him, so hoping for the best for him and that he can continue on here today.
He was a big part of that U20 group. They beat Uruguay and drew Argentina down in Buenos Aires. A good young group for them, was part of the Dream Cup or something like that as well in Mexico. Yeah. I don't know what they called it. Something exciting and, you know, exciting about the future.
Santiago Muñez Cup.
Yeah, exactly. The Jorge Villafaña Championship. And he played twice in that tournament as well, I think against Colombia. He played the full 90 minutes. Getting himself some body armor over there on the sideline. And we will see if he can continue for New York. New Jersey native came over from PDA 2 years ago to join the Red Bull Academy, and within months appeared, scored a goal in his debut against the Philly Union too. And then last year becoming the minutes leader and the all-around leader for New York Red Bulls too. This one up the field, cleared away by Antley. Felipe trying to bring that one down. Castellano battling. LaCava and Ekra can't keep the ball. Serwada has it taken away by Hilton, and then the foul will go against Serwada.
You can tell exactly Tampa Bay getting that ball. They're trying to get back in play. They know that momentum that they just had. They're trying to capitalize on that. After an injury, that's exactly what you want to do. You want to get that ball back in play, get back on the front foot, and for New York Red Bull too. Obviously, you get Daniel Edelman back in this game, but you got to find a way to regain your own momentum, which they've had some moments here in this match that they were growing into, but you got to find a little bit more consistency and being more dangerous.
Edelman's ball through for Castellano. Castellano pulls it back, and his pass intercepted by Tejada. He had the run of Pendant and looked it off.
Yeah, and I think that's tough in the system, especially for an outside back. You're given these runs and you want to be rewarded from, and the less you are, the less you're willing to make that run again.
So it's been a year first for the New York Red Bulls, as a yellow card now shown to Jeremy Raffanello. A ton of firsts, matchups, first time hosting new teams, and another one coming up for New York Red Bulls too. They return home Sunday, May 8th to take on the Sacramento Republic at 1 p.m. For tickets or information, visit NewYorkRedBulls.com/2. It'll be the first time Sacramento Republic comes to MSU Soccer Park, one of the biggest clubs in the USL Championship. They've got a big Open Cup game coming up themselves against the Seattle Sounders. But it was the first matchup between the two teams ever last year. Jeremy Raffanello scored one of the goals of the year out in Sacramento. And now the Republic coming back the other way. We saw RGV for the first time last week, and New York Red Bulls 2 will have another first next week as they'll head to Detroit City and face off against Detroit in their first year in the USL Championship. And what a week it was for Detroit, knocking off the Columbus Crew at Keyworth, getting the Open Cup. Third round started right with that one, and maybe forcing Japanese artists to the Colorado Rapids.
Crazy. Yeah, I love to see new teams. Obviously, not only hosting them here, but the new teams that have come into USL. Obviously, Detroit City, what an atmosphere that they've created for themselves out there. And really special place to play for a player, and that's what an attraction for players to bring in to get play in front of a crowd like that.
And for these Red Bull 2 players, they'll be excited to be put on that stage in that moment as Raffanello just making enough people upset that Matt Thompson talks to him here. We know, as we've said a couple times, the history between these clubs, and 3 yellow cards already in this first half between the two teams. So you're seeing that chippiness as Hilton powers this ball to the far post. Marcucci gets a hand on it, and the foul called in his favor, but Connor, no one else serves the ball the way Hilton. He strikes straight through it, and it's not clipped and backspin. It's like power as it gets further and further.
He's got the whip on it and a little bit of top spin on it, and it makes life so difficult for a goalkeeper because AJ Marcucci, obviously, he's a super aggressive goalkeeper, and he comes out there and gets a great punch on it, but sometimes it looks like it's going to hang up a little bit and then just drops off the table, and it makes life so difficult for a goalkeeper. So he needs to write a little instruction course on how to hit set pieces.
Wyke able to play out of pressure, and then Harris ball over the top. And you saw it there from Marcucci. A free kick from that area, that's his job. And he comes, and then the ball, as you said, it shifts, it goes a little faster. And he was fortunate maybe to get the foul called in his favor. Pendant trying to get out of pressure. Harris wings it back. And then the foul will go late on against Jonathan Felipe. So as it looks on camera, gorgeous weather here, but only about 59, 60 degrees. So it looks, I think, hotter on camera as the blazing sun on the turf than it is. And it's really a perfect day for these two teams that are playing this high tempo. For a soccer game as Edelman wins it back.
Couldn't ask for a better day.
And the foul will go in favor of New York there against Ekra. Final 5 or so minutes of this first half. Still looking for the opening goal. It's been the bulk of opportunities for the Rowdies in this one. Both these teams able to attack so quickly off turnovers that it really can come out of nowhere. You see Conte's frustration from Tejada just being a nuisance in that press.
Yeah,
As it's turned over, New York wins it back. Castellano out wide for Pendant. Pendant, his cross blocked.
Yeah,
Harris keeping it in.
That's a great opportunity there, Jason Pendant. I love to see him put that ball on the ground as Felipe was wide open on the back post. Just slide that, a nice firm pass across the face of the 6. And he put himself in such a good position. That's better. Better from New York, putting themselves in more advanced positions. Jason Pendant, love to see Vontae Mullings get in this game a little bit more, find him behind the breaking lines, but good spot from Felipe again.
Space from Felipe. Castellano now. Coming back in field. Across for Serwada. Played into the path of Raffanello. Raffanello's shot is blocked. Cross from Mullings and cleared away by Wyke.
Much better from New York Ripple too there, and I'm sure Gary Lewis has a smile on his face down there because that's exactly what he's looking for, just being more dangerous when you get to the final third. And it's not always what we see from this team so far in the season, still looking for their first home goal and first home win.
And you've talked about it a number of times over the last few years of watching these games. If you're more aggressive with your passing, it's also more chances to counterpress and to play higher. And you look at Pendant, that slow cross now gets deflected out. You're pressing along the sideline rather than in the 18.
You put the ball in dangerous spots and things happen, whether it's a goal for you, you know, an own goal for the other team. Things happen when you put it in dangerous positions. And if you're for New York Ripple too, where do you want to counterpress? That is in the final third, and you want to pick off this defense and put numbers forward.
Castellano, he drew about 5 neon jerseys there. And now Edelman, the big switch. Castillo getting forward into the path of Pendant. Wyke knocking it away. And it'll be a corner kick coming here for Red Bulls 2 once again. As the crowd urging them along into the attack here at MSU Soccer Park. Over there in front of the parking garage, New York Red Bulls 2 looking for a goal underneath their banners. 2016 USL regular season and postseason championships, including some big victories over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Trying to lead them there again is Raffanello. And it was well taken under pressure there from Rosarina.
It's a pretty good ball in there from Raffanello. I'd love to see more numbers in the box. Everyone's just kind of standing. You got a near post run, and everyone else was kind of expecting the ball to come to them. You gotta go find that ball.
Kava here not standing still, off to the races, and the foul from Mullings deep in the corner. So end to end. And now a set piece opportunity the other way for this Tampa Bay Rowdy side. And I think Mullings there, his calculation was, I'll get to this ball, I'll get where I need to be, and maybe the one player on the field who beats him is LaCava.
Yeah, I think he's relies so much on his speed in that position. He knows he can almost take not his quickest first step, and he'll still get to it. But when you're matching up like a guy like Mr. Chaos, it's gonna be tough sledding from there.
So Hilton steps off this one. It looks like it'll be Armin, the left-footed service. And Felipe heads it away at the near post. Hilton keeps it alive. Now Guillen out wide for Wyke. Everyone's staying forward for the Rowdies. Harris, I think Harris drew the foul there off the push from Cragwell. Taken quickly here from Harris. And it was not in the same spot as where the foul happened, but you appreciate from Dayon Harris at least trying it.
Yeah, I think one ball was not in the same spot, and it looked like it might have been rolling a little bit, so I think Tampa Bay Rowdies obviously very disappointed because Wyke was in a really good position. But rules are rules.
And we are sticklers for the rules. Matt Thompson here, our head official. Assisted in this one by Zeno Cho and Nicola Vicia. Christian Centeno, our fourth official for this one. Dying moments of the first half. A game that could still go either way. Will one of these teams steal the momentum going into the halftime locker room? Hilton, as expected, he's been dangerous all game from these set pieces. What can he do here? Hilton service, headed down by New York. Ekra with the second ball, back to Hilton. Floated to the far post. Marcucci goes up, he can't take it cleanly. And then the foul goes in his favor. It was Connor Antley challenging Marcucci high up on that ball.
Yeah, Antley making life difficult for AJ Marcucci. But another opportunity there for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Another good set piece from Hilton, and obviously not only the set piece itself, but sustaining the attack, winning those second balls, which is huge in a match like this. And I think both teams want to rely on themselves winning that second ball, sustaining an attack, and really not only the battle of transition, it's going to be a battle of second balls to determine the success here for either club here tonight.
It'll be a minimum of 1 minute of stoppage time coming here. For Tampa, I think, and we saw Neil Collins in that Daniel Elman injury, it's just about maintaining this tempo and keeping it up. On the flip side for Red Bull too, what's the message from Gary Lewis? Are there any tweaks you think we're in for?
Yeah, I think we were in. They were in a pretty good spell, and here you're getting another possession to close out this half.
Felipe nudged that one forward, and he draws a free kick.
You're gonna get, they've put themselves in a better state of mind in this last 10 minutes or so, sustaining more attacks, committing more numbers forward. I think that's just going to be the message. Being more aggressive. You're winning the ball in good spots. You force some turnovers. What can you do with it? That's going to be the big deciding factor on whether you're going to get a result out of this match or not. Tampa's not going to give you a ton of opportunities in the run of play. It's all about transition. It's all about turning the ball over and committing numbers forward at speed and getting to goal quickly.
A free kick coming. Awkward angle for a shot. It would be most likely Pendant with his left foot over the wall. Raffanello standing over this one as well. Raffanello takes it, the shot deflected, and the opening home goal of the season for New York Red Bulls 2. Jeremy Raffanello takes the risk and gets the reward.
Awkward angle. I've never seen an angle that Jeremy Raffanello did not want to shoot from. And he gets a fortunate bounce off of Ekra's shoulder, which propels the ball into the back of the net, past Rosarina. And what a goal. What a moment for New York going into the locker room. 1 goal up against Tampa Bay. Maybe it gets the run of play, but as I said, they were building into this match the past couple of minutes, getting more opportunities, and that's a big, massive first home goal. Jeremy Raffanello on a set piece. I think we've seen that before.
The Rampage have been waiting all season to let that smoke flow on a New York Red Bull 2 goal, and they finally have the reward in from who else? Jeremy Raffanello, one of the great long-distance shooters in the USL Championship. He put the power on it, he got the deflection, and he got his team the lead. New York Red Bulls 2 stealing momentum in the dying moments of this first half. Their first lead here at MSU Soccer Park against the third-place team in the USL Championship in the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and we are in for a treat for this second half. Two teams that have come out, they've let it fly, they've pushed, they've been aggressive, and we finally have the opening goal, and now the Rowdies will have to chase as Raffanello gets his second goal of this season. We'll be back with all your first half highlights and second half action coming up in just a moment here. USL Championship Soccer on ESPN+.
In 2020, in the very beginning, we had people banging pots and pans outside. This time around, I've had people spit at me. I've had people scream at me.
People just don't understand it unless you're there.
I come into work just wanting to help my patients.
We are building our team back again, and we are building it back stronger and stronger.
Outside. This time around, I've had people spit at me. I've had people scream at me.
People just don't understand it unless you're there.
I come into work just wanting to help my patients.
We are building our team back again, and we are building it back stronger and stronger.
You really love what you do, so you stick to it.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi.
Red Bull Arena has been the fortress.
The atmosphere absolutely electric.
Patrick Lamala, a superb finish. Oh my goodness, Christian Caceres saved Coronel. Oh, what a dynamite stop.
All it takes is one chance for the Red Bulls.
Bring the house down. Red Bull Arenas is home. Oh, what a finish.
Beautiful day for some soccer at MSU Soccer Park on the campus of Montclair State University. David Goss and Connor Lade back here with you. As we take a look at the first half that was, we highlighted Jake LaCava for a reason, coming back home to face his parent club, and he has put on a show.
Yeah, Jake LaCava has been super dangerous in the first half. I think he's unlucky not to have a couple more clear-cut chances here. Obviously, he's been testing A.J. Marcucci right off the bat, but not only his shots, his movement, his distribution. This is what we know, we've come to know and love from Jake LaCava, is how dangerous he is in the attack.
On the flip side, you see Marcucci get a touch to that one. A.J. Marcucci, an active first half. A lot of it has been this one-on-one battle between him and Lewis Hilton on set pieces.
Yeah, Lewis Hilton, I think he's done a fantastic job of being aggressive, realizing these moments that he can come out, have big punches, come out and catch the ball, release some pressure, which is huge when you're playing a team like Tampa Rowdies, coming out and catching that ball and give your team a breath.
So we've seen Jake LaCava. We've talked about him on loan for New York Red Bulls too with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Going in the other direction though, on the bench here today, Jordan Adebayo-Smith. He is in his first year with the New York Red Bulls too. We caught up with the young pro from East London to talk about his time in Tampa and what he hopes to accomplish this year.
Red Bulls 2, easy chance and in Adebayo-Smith.
I feel like the key thing I'm going to bring over is the habits that players at Tampa had. A lot of the players were very focused every game before training and after training. They'll do work behind the scenes and then it shows on a match day. So I feel like bringing that to the young players and leading by example, showing them what gets you success and takes you to the next level. These young players have an opportunity which I'd like to have as well at the time, so it was good to kind of show what I can do against them and show my level as well. I'm just a young boy from East London, it's just hoping to get goals and just trying to get to the highest level possible in my career.
Jordan Adebayo-Smith, obviously growing up in London, coming over here, has had some success with Tampa Rowdies, and I think New York Red Bull 2 fans are thrilled to get him in exchange for Jake LaCava here. Obviously, we're still waiting for the big breakout from Jordan Adebayo-Smith, but obviously 25 appearances and 6 starts 2021 with Tampa Rowdies. 4 goals last season, was a big impact off the bench. Obviously, New York Red Bull 2 killer, had a couple goals, and I think we're, like I said, waiting for that big breakout from him, but he's got the quality to be successful in the system, and I think we can expect to see him here today.
We've seen the edge LaCava's played with against his parent club. Can Adebayo-Smith bring that off the bench? As you said, could this be his breakout game? We've got a ton of action coming up for you. We'll take a look around the USL Championship, a huge week of Open Cup play for some USL teams against MLS sides. We'll take a look at the start of the W League coming up, and we've got our second half action still in store here on ESPN+.
and it's Indy 11 taking the lead.
Great finish. Cue the smoke.
It's a goal for Orange County SC and their first of the season.
And that's full time. The old guard with a new trophy. Orange County wins the USL Championship final.
Raffanello with the shot now, and New York Red Bulls 2 take the lead. Forbes one-on-one with Marcucci, and it's saved again.
This guy has ice in his veins.
And it's in. What a finish. The teenager in front of his academy teammates. Players out as the subs are on the field. Warming up a little bit here under the sun as we take a look at our USL Championship standings. Louisville City FC sitting in first place. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and the Rowdies chasing them, and the new boys. Detroit City FC currently sitting in fourth place. No difference in games played, but it's been a really bright start to the season in the Eastern Conference. Louisville City, a big penalty kick win over St. Louis City SC 2 in Open Cup play. As you take a look at the scoreboard, the first game of the week here for Red Bulls 2 against the Tampa Bay Rowdies, so a ton of action to catch up on as you watch USL Championship all night. But I mentioned that Open Cup win. It was a huge week of play for USL League One as well as the USL Championship. Detroit City, maybe as big as anyone with their win over the Columbus Crew. We talked about the Colors North. Colorado Hailstorm, USL League One. They have played 4 games. They've beat a championship team and an MLS team in 2 of those 4 games. That's what franchises are built on.
That's the beauty of Open Cup. I mean, hailstorm. There's been a big hailstorm across the U.S. here, and I think they're taking every league by storm. So glad to see Cup sets are back in play. I love that the Open Cup's back, and we're excited.
And maybe one of the best games of the year. Any competition, San Antonio against Austin FC, a big extra time win for San Antonio. We saw the Greenville Triumph push Charlotte FC at home into extra time before falling 2-1, as you see Union Omaha getting a victory as well. In this one, possession maybe the least desirable stat for these two teams, split 50-50. What's not up there? 18 fouls in the first half, 10-8 for New York Red Bulls. Is that just what happens when you press?
That's it. That's what happens when you press. That's what happens when these two teams meet with the history that they have, and I think that's just something that you always are going to see, and especially two teams that are trying to, like I said earlier, getting the upper hand and trying to put the other team in a physical, difficult game. That's what you're going to get out of it. Fouls, fouls, fouls.
It has been a fun one. A free kick goal for Raffanello is the difference right now. As Red Bulls 2 and Tampa Bay Rowdies, they have been part of some great matchups in USL Championship regular season and playoff history, including in that 2016 championship run. Can the Red Bulls get their first home win here? Coming up in just a moment on ESPN+.
In 2020, in the very beginning, we had people banging pots and pans outside. This time around, I've had people spit at me. I've had people scream at me.
People just don't understand it unless you're there.
I come into work just wanting to help my patients.
We are building our team back again, and we are building it back stronger and stronger.
You really love what you do, so you stick to it.
Closest to the rail, around the back turn, and he is a
drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family.
Red Bull Arena has been the fortress.
The atmosphere absolutely electric.
A superb finish. Oh my goodness. Christian Caceres saved Coronel. Oh, what a dynamite stop.
All it takes is one chance for the Red Bulls.
Bring the house down. Red Bull Arena's his home. Oh, what a finish.
David Goss, Connor Lade with you on ESPN Plus. USL Championship action. Red Bulls still leading 1-0 over the Tampa Bay Rowdies. A tough schedule coming up for both of these clubs. As we take a look at the highlights for this one so far, Connor, and it was Tampa out the gates dangerous as Red Bulls 2 found their feet.
Yeah, it took a long time for New York to get actually momentum in this match, and Tampa Bay was really all over them. AJ Marcucci had to come up big to save them a couple of really strong punches. Tejada was a handful, as he always is, and AJ Marcucci was up to the test. But New York slowly crept into this match, started gaining momentum. I think right after Daniel Edelman went down, they really started that breath. I think it gave the team what they needed to get back in this match. And you see Jonathan Felipe set the team up, Ekra getting the foul, and Jeremy Raffanello putting it right back off Ekra's shoulder, thanking him for the foul, and spins it right in the upper 90, puts them up in 1-0 in this match. And this is something they should be confident about, but not hesitant. They should be aggressive and continue to push the game.
The Rampage have been waiting to celebrate that goal. They'll get another game coming up, as we said, Sacramento Republic for the first time ever coming here to MSU Soccer Park. Detroit City, the first ever matchup against Red Bulls 2. A tough schedule there. Hartford Athletic, who just faced the MLS side in Open Cup play. On the flip side for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it doesn't get any easier for them either. They head to Memphis, then they host Landon Donovan and the San Diego Loyal, and then they travel to Phoenix to face off against the Phoenix Rising and the second place team in the Eastern Conference, Pittsburgh Riverhounds. So for Tampa, you have to look at this one, Connor, and say, with the way they've played in the first half and where Red Bulls 2 sits in the standings, this is a must-win or a winnable game for them.
Yeah, I think if Neil Collins had to be honest coming into this match, he would say this is a must-win game for the team. And I think that's when teams, realistically, where New York Red Bulls in the standings in the way that they played, and especially at home, teams are looking to get a result here. Not only a draw, they're looking to come here and get wins, and this would be a massive win if New York Red Bull 2 can hold on this scoreline and, if not add to it. But Tampa Bay is going to be one of the toughest teams in USL to hold a result against.
So one change, it looks like, coming out of halftime, and it'll be on the side of New York Red Bulls as Sam Williams checks in place of Daniel Edelman in that central midfield spot, as Raffanello forces a turnover here. The goal scorer is off to the races, looking for Felipe, and the pass intercepted by Antley. Immediately, Red Bulls 2 back into the press.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity there. Jeremy Raffanello so clever to get around the defender and gets out in transition, tries to find Felipe. If he finds him, Felipe has a great opportunity to add to the lead, but good moment to start the match, and that's what you want to see them do off transition moments. Get forward, commit numbers, and Jonathan Felipe was there, just unlucky not to receive the pass.
And a chance for the first time this season to play from a lead for New York Red Bulls 2. As this ball slipped through from Ekra. Harris gets on the end of it. His cross put in. Greg misses the shot and cleared away by Mullings.
Greg, you can tell he's frustrated, not wrapping his foot around that one. And Harris is going to be offside, but what an opportunity. Maybe gets a slight touch on it, but can't direct it in.
Harris doing the work. I don't think Greg got a touch on it at all at the near post.
Just missed it. And great ball in from Harris and AJ Marcucci. That's going to be a tough one to stop if he connects with that. But great opportunity there from Tampa Bay. As we said, they're going to be coming out of this locker room hot. They're upset the way that they gave up a goal at the dying end of the first half, and they're going to try to right that wrong right off the bat.
Raffanello now into the attack once again. And it's taken away by Hilton. Massive performance from Lewis Hilton here today. As Conte will go all the way back to the feet of Marcucci. Tampa Bay Rowdies in their neon yellow kits here. Put under some pressure. Going left to right on your screens, New York Red Bulls 2. Their black and red kits going right to left on your monitors. As Greg now put through in on goal. His shot, and it'll go just wide of the far post.
Yeah, these are the moments that New York Red Bull 2 has to solidify things defensively. Obviously, not a tough moment for AJ Marcucci. Obviously, he is comfortable seeing that ball go wide, but Greg is finding success early on in the second half, and a little casual from the New York Red Bull 2 defense. I think, you can't sit on this lead and expect the job is done right now. You have to, ramp things up even more than you did in the first half because you know that Tampa Bay is coming.
It looks like both coaching staffs went in and decided to be more aggressive to open up this second half.
And I think it's in the DNA of both these sides. When you aren't aggressive is when you're the most vulnerable. So I think it's as soon as you get away from that, that's when clear-cut chances are going to come from the other side.
And the Red Bulls, too, they're able to press Wyke into a mistake. And a little bit of a back and forth there between Wyke and a Rosarina along that back line. So it felt like a Rosarina maybe put Wyke into a tough situation on that pass. And deep throw in coming here for Ovante Mullings. Mullings, the Canadian, his first year in professional soccer. Williams trying to close on the second ball. It's knocked past Sirwada. Conte, though, back out wide for Williams. Sam Williams, the youngest player on the field here. Part of the Red Bull U17 team at the GA Cup over the last 2 weeks. But he has been a mainstay since last August with the New York Red Bulls, too. Under some pressure here. Out wide for Mullings. And now Felipe sitting in that hole underneath. Raffanello turned over. Tampa not able to play out of pressure. Raffanello wins it back. Raffanello now down the line for Mullings. Pulled back to Raffanello. Clipped into the far post. Knocked away. Still alive for New York. And Sirwada can't get his touch right. And now the whistle will go as there was a collision between Felipe and a Rosarina.
Yeah, it was a big collision there, and another fantastic opportunity. Jeremy Raffanello, I was initially thinking when he gets that ball, spray it out to Jason Pendant because he was streaking down, but ends up, he gets another chance to get it to the back post. Jason Pendant was wide open again, just puts it there, and Rosarina comes out and just hammers Jonathan Felipe. But I think that's going to be something. You got to start rewarding these players that are getting in the box, and Jason Pendant's been doing that. He's been putting himself in really good positions, and they got to start rewarding him for that. But when it's all said and done, it's another good opportunity for New York, and they've been looking dangerous. And I think if you ask Gary Lewis, I'm sure he's going to be happy with the way that they've conducted themselves in the attack. This is much more of what he wants to see out of his team.
The gap's starting to open up for New York Red Bulls too in the attack here in this second half.
And a lot of these opportunities are coming off transition moments, and that's exactly what he wants to see out of his team.
Well, it looks like Felipe clear to continue here in this second half as another free kick called in favor of New York. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XMFC, channel 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, plus hear live matches from USL, MLS, EPL, and more, all on Sirius XMFC 157 in the Sirius XM app. David Goss was on Sirius Radio this week one time. I was interviewed on a show.
What show was that?
I think it was Jason Davis's show, and I don't know why I said I think, because it was, and I was on it. So I don't know why I'm so confused about it.
You didn't alert me that you were going to be on.
Well, I assume you're always just trolling content. Trying to look for me.
I search Twitter, put in your name, and see what you're on for the week, and that's my schedule. I'm just following you around.
The problem is I like to use pseudonyms. I like to be like a double agent like Jake LaCava. I like to stay
Mr.
under the radar.
What is your pseudonym?
I don't have anything good. I don't have a neck tattoo, so I don't have anything good
We'll have to change
I came
that.
off with. Yeah, we'll work on that. You can see the substitutes behind Marcucci warming up for Tampa.
Yeah, I think you can expect to see some of these names coming in here sooner rather than later.
It looks like John Murphy just pulled back from warming up himself. Could be that next sub for New York Red Bulls, too. Murphy's worn the captain's armband a couple times this season. Has a goal and an assist for this team as Castellanos' layoff cleared away by Wyke. The header coming back in Flicked on by Antley. This is some energy drink soccer here on a gorgeous Saturday afternoon for USL Championship play. Jeremy Raffanello in stoppage time of the first half, our lone goal so far. Hilton under pressure now. Sirwada gets a touch into the feet of Felipe. Felipe now to his right foot. Felipe doesn't pull the trigger.
What a great step there from Steven Sirwada. That's what you want to see out of midfielders in this New York Red Bull 2 system. Just licking their lips and waiting for those moments, those passes, those cues that they like to call them. And that was a great one there. Obviously, Jonathan Felipe just couldn't pull the trigger. Thinking an opportunity, maybe a little roll back for Jeremy Raffanello, who was wide open on top of the box. But another great opportunity in New York.
Armin puts this ball in, headed away by Red Bull 2.
New York just looks dangerous right now, but just when you get comfortable in a match, Tampa Bay is going to say, hold my beer. So you got to be careful on the other side of things.
Harris and Wyke trying to make that happen. Another turnover forced by New York. Raffanello pulls it back. He's got the run now of Pendant. Can New York Red Bulls 2 take advantage of one of these transition moments? Pendant's ball can't sneak through. And now Harris looking to go the other way. And Greg will get to this one first. And his through ball intercepted by Cragwell. Yeah,
Craig almost sprung LaCava there, but I think for New York, you have to find ways to be just more cutthroat in the attack. When you're on the front foot, you got to capitalize on some of these opportunities. Not only just try to find goals, just finish plays with you know, if that goes out for a corner kick, even if it's a goal kick, just finish plays off.
Yeah. And
they haven't been able to do that all the time.
This ball snuck through. And Ekra not able to keep it under control. Now the Rowdies a chance to put on the pressure for them. And I apologize, it looks like a mistake from me. It looks like Juan Tejada was taken off at halftime. And in place of him is Junior Etu coming on, the central midfielder. So a little bit of a change in shape here for this Rowdy side. Kind of sort of match New York Red Bulls 2 in central midfield.
Yeah, you know, when you've got these two sides matching up, it's a battle in the midfield. And, you know, I think Tejada obviously had a good first half. It's always going to be dangerous, and the two steps in there, try to solidify this midfield.
Raffanello now with some space. Into the feet of Williams as Raffanello taken down behind the play. Our head official, Matt Thompson, standing over that one, was preparing the whistle, but he lets New York play on. As you see Ekra playing a little bit higher now with Etu in central midfield alongside Hilton behind him. Now Armin coming forward. It looked like a handball. It was against Sirwada, but Matt Thompson still plays on. Junior Etu coming over from the Charlotte Independents this season. His 8th appearance of the year for the Rowdies. Just 2 starts for him. Again, that change in shape, looking to bring some new energy as well. And this Rowdy side, they still have a ton of danger as that ball will hit Sirwada in the face. He goes down behind the play. Castillo's going to get called for the foul. Excuse me, the offside flag went up. And Sirwada still down behind the play after that big clearance from Cragwell went off his face. Last thing you want to see. Looks like he'll be looked at by the trainer, but Duba dos Santos, Sebastian Guanzati, Leo Fernandez, Lucky M. Kosana still all in the chamber that Coach Neil Collins can use over these final 30-plus minutes.
Yeah, and I think any one of those guys steps in is like you mentioned earlier, is a game changer. I think they're all top level players in this USL. And, you know, I can expect we're going to see a few of those guys come into this match, because especially when you're chasing a lead right now.
And as you can see along our ticker on the top, a big historic week for the USL Championship, as in Konami's eFootball, the USL Championship teams have now been added. So PlayStation, Xbox, any Windows platforms, you can now play as your favorite USL players and team in a video game for the first time ever. And for a lot of people, that's like the I made it moment for players, to play as yourself in a video game. And so a really cool moment for USL Championship fans, for these players, and of course for the league overall as it continues to grow. We mentioned it, but Detroit City, Wadden Edition, they've been, and you've got a lot of great markets building back up. You get to see fans back in New Mexico. It's been a really good year so far for the USL Championship, and it'll only continue.
Yeah, I think it's an exciting moment for young players when you get to play yourself in a video game. And I know I was always putting myself off the bench and throwing myself in the starting lineup, Dave. But, yeah, no, it's
you subbed in for Thierry Henry and Bradley Wright Phillips up top.
Who's this guy? Get these guys off the field. They're not game changers like I was, you know. But, yeah, no, exciting times in the USL landscape, obviously, with this announcement and all the additions, like you mentioned. It's what a time. It's exciting times, and obviously we hope that these teams can push on in the Open Cup and make a true big name for themselves in this tournament.
And what a huge week for League One to have started straight into COVID, really, as a league, and for the USL League One clubs to show now over the last few rounds of Open Cup how strong that level is, because it was just an unknown. Right. Everyone knew there was good players there. How good were the teams overall? And now you're looking at, a Union Omaha, Greenville, Triumph. All these teams can play at a high level, and that league growing, which is only going to make it stronger to have closer home trips and more rivalries and more regional setup of the league. So a lot of excitement, I think, around all of USL. And we mentioned that the W League coming into existence this summer. So having a women's side for the USL to build. There'll be a couple teams here in the New Jersey area as well as down in Florida. So make sure to go to the W League website, check out schedules. The opening game coming up on May 7th. So just around the corner, and find your local team that you can go out and support. Conte switching it to Castillo. Sierra remaining in the game here for New York Red Bulls too. Red Bulls thought there was a foul that should have been given. See Neil Collins talking to his players, trying to clean up maybe their lines a little bit. And a real positive shift here in the second half. Connor, you said, coming out of halftime, you want to see Red Bulls to play well, play for the win, don't play scared, and this has been some of the best 15 minutes we've seen of them.
Yeah, you've absolutely seen that, and I think Greg goes down a tackle with Conte, and I think it's been very positive coming off. And I know Tampa Bay has also had some chances in here, and I think Neil Collins, if you look across the way, he's not panicking right now. Whether he trusts the squad he has on the team, and he knows he's got reinforcements that can come in and do the job, but I think it's been very positive so far from New York, and they just got to find ways to manage the match, because this is uncharted territory from them in 2022.
Neil Collins, still just 38 years old, looking like he could play.
Oh, yeah.
Keeping it trim. Obviously stepped literally right off the field into the head coach role for the Rowdies, and has just done an unbelievable job maintaining their success. They lost Foster Langsdorff to Sweden over the course of this offseason. A couple other big pieces out of their group, including Evan Loro, who we see here today with his ACL tear still rehabbing and in this New Jersey area, as Raffanello's into the attack. He's got runners alongside him. Raffanello clips it to Castellano. Castellano trying to bring it down, and good defending by the Rowdies.
Yeah, it was just a little bit too much to ask for. Castellano needed a ball he could control a little bit better. Tampa Bay is out and running.
Armin now, one-on-one. He gets by Cragwell. Armin into the box, and Sirwada coming back to help defend. Space now for New York in the other direction. Antley directing Rose Arena there, and now Antley draws the foul. quickly taken by Antley back to a Rose Arena. This game opening up for these two sides. Is there another goal in this one? And the flag goes up against LaCava. Acrobatic play from Matt Thompson to get out of the way there.
Yeah, very acrobatic. And Jake LaCava has been towing that line. We've seen him have a couple offside calls so far. And Cragwell definitely got very close there, but Jake LaCava just a step offside. And that's what he does on that front line. He tows it all game until that one is not called offside. And that's not going to deter him from making these runs. He plays that line right on the razor-thin edge.
We couldn't see Pendant, but otherwise it did look like he was that half step off on that one. But if you toe that line, at some point it'll either a bad call or more likely it'll fall for you one time, and that is the danger sign for Red Bulls too.
That, and in a defender's mind, that's going to give you that extra step that he's been really close here, and you know it makes you almost even take a shade more back.
Right.
And which, in reality, that is probably should be the opposite thing you do, but it's almost a subconscious thing that you do because Jake LaCava, with his speed, he can beat really anyone on this back line. I think Avante Mullings might have something to say there, as you know, Castillo in himself. You know, we got some speed on the back line, but these central guys, I think he obviously, you've got to be a little bit cautious when you know he's on that line.
So two subs coming here for Red Bulls too. It looks like it'll be John Murphy and Jordan Adebayo Smith. They are preparing to come on here. We'll see who it's in place of. Gary Lewis looking for his first home win as head coach of New York Red Bulls too. It would be his first win at the pro level as a head coach at home. Just the lone victory at Atlanta United 2 so far in this inaugural season. Ibrahim Sakaya still bringing that experience along that sideline. His 8th season as an assistant coach here at the USL level, so the substitutes now coming on. Not much of a surprise that Jesus Castellano, still getting his legs under him here in the U.S., is coming off. But a bright start to this game for him, and then Jonathan Felipe will be the other substitute, finally getting to play out a full appearance for him.
Yeah, I think good performances from both guys. I think Castellano still adjusting to the system as well. I think there's moments in there that pulls the ball back a little bit when he could be a little bit more aggressive, but I think he put himself in really good spots today underneath Jeremy Raffanello, and the combination of those two is still growing. And Jonathan Felipe, again, a good performance from him today, and not a lot of the things that he does shows up on the stat page, but another solid performance, and I think it's going to be one to build on for him.
So Adebayo Smith will come in up top in place of Felipe, maybe even push Raffanello a little deeper. And Murphy will be that third central midfielder alongside Sirwada and Williams.
Our lone battle is officially complete now. Here we go.
Adebayo Smith would like to do what LaCava did in the first half and maybe plus a little bit and get himself a goal. As LaCava will draw the foul there. And a yellow card coming. Christopher Cragwell picks up the yellow card. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2022, whether your club's on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL Championship action on ESPN+, the home to USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up at ESPNplus.com. As Harris now charging into the attack. Harris in the box, a collision cleared away by Castillo, and now Red Bulls 2. Gonna run in transition. Raffanello shows off his footwork. We'll roll it out for the run of Pendant. Sirwada surrounded by yellow jerseys. He turns it over. Ekra now into the path of Greg, and Marcucci off his line clears it away.
It's probably got to be one of the easier scouts for these two staffs, having two players on loan, digging into their brains, trying to get to the bottom of what will unlock these two teams.
It looks like Neil Collins is going to try and find that key on the bench here, as he's got his weapons up off the bench and ready to come on. It looks like M. Kosana and Dubido Santos will be a part of this substitution for this Rowdy side as Gary Lewis has played his cards, bringing on Murphy and Adebayo Smith as Greg now gets into the box, turns and shoots, and into the arms of Marcucci.
Yeah, Greg's been threatening. He's been probably the most dangerous player for this Tampa Bay Rowdies team in this second half, and I think the turf helped out a little bit there, holding up this ball, and AJ Marcucci again, not troubled by the shot, but I think we can see these additions coming out for Tampa are going to try to bolster this attack and try to reclaim some of the momentum they've lost from the first half.
Murphy trying to lay that one back for Cragwell. Now the ball over the top, too far for Mullings. And Connor, one of the things we talked about off air in halftime was when New York Red Bulls 2 built out of the back, sort of what they were trying to do is Armin now on the throw-in. Cross played up into the air by Pendant. And we've seen Mullings start so much higher in this second half as he now gets into the attack. Murphy with the big switch to Raffanello. Raffanello onside still. One-on-one against Wyke. Raffanello trying to come inside. Thought he had the runner behind him from Pendant.
Yeah, you see what Jeremy Raffanello was trying to do there. Use that run of Pendant to get an upper hand on his matchup, but I think sometimes we need to see a little bit quicker decisions from New York Red Bull 2 in the final third, but Jeremy Raffanello, he's one you give license to try to create something in the final third.
Greg chasing this one from Sirwada. Played up over the top from Marcucci, and now Red Bull 2 back onto the attack.
But what a fantastic ball that was from John Murphy to spring Raffanello.
LaCava now looking to spring Greg, and Marcucci first to the danger. Marcucci right up the field. Raffanello couldn't read that one. Wyke clears it off him, and now Wyke stepping into the attack. At 2, off the bench, looking to hold some players off. So Raffanello here. First time off the turnover. A little apology from him, and the subs now will come. So it'll be Fernandez, Jordan Scarlett, and Lucky M. Kosana to come on here. Kyle Gregg's afternoon is finished. So Dayon Harris and Kyle Gregg, 2 of the players to come off. And it looks like Jan Ekra will be the 3rd sub coming off. So Scarlett will go in at center back, and it looks like he'll push Connor Antley from the middle of the back 3 up to wing back here to close this one out. M. Kosana going in up top, and Leo Fernandez as well. So a reshift of things for Neil Collins, a ton of danger, and maybe the biggest cheer of the day for Leo Fernandez as his roots run deep up here, a Long Island native, played for the New York Cosmos here in the tri-state area, and now one of the established pieces for the Rowdies. Plenty of Rowdies Fernandez jerseys in the crowd.
Yeah, Leo Fernandez, and we see what he can do here at Montclair State University. Scored a goal in 2021, and I think he's obviously a super dangerous player. That silky left foot, you give him an inch, he'll take a mile, and it's going to be one to watch in this match. Lucky M. Kasana, obviously, as well. A lot of success in this area with the New York Cosmos as well. So 2 familiar faces to the area, and Jordan Scarlett. So it's a trifecta for us.
Hilton serves it in. Headed away, Wyke's volley. And it goes just over the crossbar, and I think Wyke upset with the referee for standing in front of him as he tried to line up that volley. Jordan Scarlett left Red Bulls 2 as the longest tenured Red Bull 2 player. Not the most appearances because of some injuries, but stuck with the team over their first 4 years out of Iona. The tri-state area native, and he has been rock solid for Neil Collins. Alongside their back line as Mullings is into space now. Mullings, and his shot screwed wide.
Oh, great opportunity. Avante Mullings finally getting in the final third. Just hits the ball. Comes off with the outside of his right foot. Shanks it a little bit, but great job by Jordan Adebayo-Smith there. Put pressure on Scarlett and put Avante Mullings in a good opportunity.
Mullings again staying high up the field. Williams closed down Murphy, keeping the ball moving. And Sirwada and Adebayo-Smith can't connect there. And now Conte being chased down by LaCava. And Marcucci playing it back into the feet of Conte. Connor, we've seen the adjustment for Coach Lewis to split those wide center backs a little wider. It's allowed Pendant and Mullings to start higher up the field, and it's made the shape for New York not just more aggressive, but easier to play out through.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, and they were pinning themselves back, which allows more room for Tampa Bay to move up the field, press higher, and for those wing backs to make their job much easier to get in the attack. When you flip it and you control that space, that makes it much easier to build out your attack, to sustain your own attacks, and get these guys in positions that they can affect the game. So I love the adjustment. I love whether that's been Gary Lewis or it's or with the players themselves. That's exactly how you need to play the system, and it wasn't necessarily how they played in the first half.
So Red Bulls, too, looking for their first home win of the season. It's Raffanello's first half stoppage time free kick goal right now that stands as the difference. Ball thrown in. Scarlett heads it down. Hilton with the clearance. And Kosana battling with Conte. And the foul will go against Conte here. As Etu getting tangled with Sirwada behind the play. Etu, DR Congo international. Sirwada, a Ugandan international. A nice little calf matchup there. As LaCava facing up against Cragwell. LaCava gets by the defender. LaCava into the box. LaCava's shot is blocked and claims for handball from the Rowdies. Matt Thompson, our head official, right on top of that one. His bodies are now down in the box. No VAR, of course, available in this game. And a flash point there as Raffanella now into Adebayo-Smith. And the offside flag goes up against Adebayo-Smith, as Rosarina was the first one to it anyway. This game opening up. Chaos both sides. Can Red Bulls 2 take advantage and double their lead? Raffanello for himself, and he pulls his shot wide.
Yeah, that's not the decision you need there from Jeremy Raffanello. Avante Mullings was sprinting into space. You got to play him there and try to get the glory himself there, but where to start with that sequence? I mean, if you look at Jeremy Raffanello, you get the shot there. Is never going to trouble a Rosarina there, but
I'd say from our angle in real time, that handball looked questionable, and it looked like a potential call.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it looked like it clearly hit a hand and was blocked. The question being, as the player's falling down, is there anything they can do about it? Is that a natural position? There's those conversations as well. But I think Red Bulls 2 are lucky. Here's the chance. LaCava, mazy run.
Yeah, does well to stay on his feet there, and it looks like
it comes off Castillo's foot. Yeah.
Deflects there. So, yeah, big calls there. It depends on the referee on how they interpret that. Obviously, the deflection changes things a little bit. So, I think in real time, that looked like it hit the hand straight away.
I think the deflection takes it as you can't anticipate it. You're not putting your hand out there. It's somewhat of a natural position as Castillo goes down. It is 50-50 or 51-49.
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Exactly.
Matt Thompson was right on top of it, and he was very clear in what he felt he saw. I think that's sort of all you can ask for these two teams. Castillo did go down behind the play after that. So right now, Red Bulls 2 playing down a man. Castillo coming back on. So Pendant pinching in a little to cover for him at center back. And we'll see if Castillo is able to continue for the rest of the game. Tampa Bay Rowdies came out, had all the chances early in the first half, couldn't put one away. Red Bulls 2 stayed in the game, started to find their feet, and got the goal in the 46th minute. Stoppage time of the first half through Raffanello. Here in the second half, you have to say Red Bull Sioux have been more dangerous up until that LaCava opportunity. Tampa had the big chance that Kyle Gregg sort of whiffed on at the near post, but this has been a much better half for Red Bull Sioux. Tampa's still trying to find their feet.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tampa Bay, they've been about a couple inches away from being more dangerous with a couple of those Jake LaCava offsides, but New York has looked good.
Hilton serves this one in and into the body of Marcucci.
I think it's just taking advantage of these opportunities that you have and really killing games off. And that only comes with being aggressive still. I love the run that Jeremy Adebayo-Smith made. Jeremy Raffanello just a little slow to play him in the second part of that sequence after the LaCava opportunity there. But you better believe he's going to want to get on the scoreline here today against his former club as well.
And one of the things, it sounds simple, but it hasn't been for Red Bulls too, is they have been, I think woeful would be a fair term, at defending set pieces.
Right.
It has been one of their biggest Achilles heels over the last few years, especially corner kicks. And with Hilton's quality, you have to tip your cap that Red Bull Sioux yet to concede on this multitude of set piece opportunities.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I think a big part of that is AJ Marcucci. He's just been so aggressive, coming off his line, you know, solidifying this defense. And, you know, sometimes that means you come out and do it yourself and, you know, not rely on the guys around you. But he's done a very, very good job coming out, finding the right times to be aggressive today.
Fernandez able to keep the ball under pressure. Hilton now skates through two defenders out wide for Fernandez. Well, Fernandez, the Stony Brook grad, cutting in field, and now the Rowdies will reset their attack here as we enter the final 10 minutes of this one. A perfect afternoon to kick off the weekend of USL Championship and League One action here on ESPN+. David Goss and Connor Lade with you as the Red Bulls, too, are looking for their first home win of the season. They've already scored their first home goal of the season. This their fourth opportunity. That man AJ Marcucci wearing the armband for this Red Bull 2 side. Whips that one over the top. Guillen heads it away, then at 2. Murphy keeping it in. Sirwada now for the run of Pendant. Pendant trying to get to the end of that one. His cross is knocked down. Second chance coming. Block shot. Raffanello now on the ball. Raffanello looking for a shooting opportunity. Adebayo-Smith has it knocked away.
Wow, the feet there, Jeremy Raffanello just weaving through traffic so gracefully and sets up Jordan Adebayo-Smith. Just can't get a shot on frame, but what a goal that would have been.
And credit to Pendant. His effort kept that ball in play and created that entire attack. And then the big clearance from Conte and the foul against LaCava. As we get a replay of this entire sequence.
Yeah, Rosarina put himself in a tough spot there, and Jordan Adebayo-Smith gets another look at it. But watch the feed here. Jeremy Raffanello, roll, soul roll, soul roll. There you go. Sets it up. Just takes a little deflection off the knee from Jordan Adebayo-Smith, but quite crafty.
If that ball drops off the thigh for Adebayo-Smith, it's probably a goal.
Agreed.
It's been a tough run for him. Just one goal so far, and now 7 appearances for Red Bulls 2. Going to take that step up. You mentioned it at halftime. He was a super sub for the Rowdies last year. Not a ton of starts, but 6 goals for them. He's trying to continue to develop his game for a young player.
I think it's a great opportunity. Obviously, as any player, you want to start games. You know, not every player wants to dream of that super sub role, but I think it's a great opportunity for him. Solidify himself as on the flip side of things, as we talk about Jake LaCava growing and showing the other side of your game. It's a good opportunity for him to show the Tampa Bay Rowdies what he can do.
That ball clipped up over the top, and for him, you got a Rowdies team. They have to push for goals. Red Bulls too are good in like this is a huge opportunity to get a goal in a game state that should fit your opportunities.
Yeah, and they haven't seen a position like this all year, so he's got to be chomping at the bit.
Fans, the New York Red Bulls 2 return home Sunday, May 8th to take on Sacramento Republic at 1 p.m. For tickets. For more information, visit NewYorkRedBulls.com/2. The Sac Republic coming to MSU Soccer Park for the first time ever. Should be a fun one here. And of course, if you don't make it out, the game will be available for you on ESPN Plus, as all New York Red Bull 2 games are. As Williams now up the line for Raffanello. Scarlett out to close him down. Raffanello. And he pulls it back and gets the ball into possession for New York. But Connor, I think you were calling for the switch.
Yeah, Avante Mullings just was wide open there. And I think he was trying to do that when he initially cut it back on his right foot, but because the defense didn't provide him that angle. But Jeremy Raffanello, we've seen him, get in good positions in the transition. But Avante Mullings, again, he's been super aggressive trying to get forward. They just got to find him there, and I think we might be able to see him get a goal for himself if they feed him.
And the Rowdies now going to move their lines up the field and knock it around. Wyke. Big switch to Guillen. Aaron Guillen played every minute over the last 2 years for the Rowdies as Fernandez floats it in, and Emko Sana's header just over the crossbar. The two substitutes linking up, and Connor, that's what they're capable of.
Yeah, two guys very familiar with each other, spending time with the Cosmos. That connection is already built in, and Leo Fernandez, look at the quality. I mean, the service that he can just put on a dime, right on a plate for players, and lucky him, Kansana, that's not a sight you see every day with him. He usually buries those opportunities, so New York Red Bull 2 and AJ Marcucci very fortunate that didn't go in the back of the net.
Emko Sana, the goal midweek in Open Cup play, 4 goals last year for Tampa. Did you play with those two?
I did not. I've played in the same kind of, played against Leo Fernandez a lot. We went to college at the same time in the area together, and but I missed them. For my lone spell with the Cosmos, that 8-game spell was in 2014, so a little before their time.
Emko Sana joining up with the Cosmos in 2015 for a 2-year spell, and then returning in 2017 as here's an opportunity again. Marcucci with the first save. Fernandez's shot is cleared, but into the goal. The equalizer for the New York native off the bench from Leo Fernandez.
It's just Leo Fernandez is New York Red Bull 2 killer. Connor Antley, what a run from Antley to get out in transition. AJ Marcucci does so good to block the first opportunity, just can't get it done on the second one. Leo Fernandez, I think you expect him to bury that every single time it rolls out to him. And 1-1. It's going to be an interesting last portion of this match, Dave.
And an assist for Neil Collins. He moved Antley from the center of the back three out to that wing back position to set him up on that chance. And Fernandez coming off the bench, giving his traveling supporters group something to cheer about. Is there a winner still in this one for the Rowdies? New York Red Bulls 2. Are they going to hang on for a point, or can they push for the full 3? 5 minutes of this one as another substitute for the Rowdies getting ready, and it looks like it'll be Sebastian Guenzati, the second leading goal scorer in the USL Championship last year in the entire league. What a player to be able to bring off the bench 22 goals in 2021.
Yeah, if you're New York Red Bull 2, that's the last person you want to see enter this match in the dying minutes where everything is to play for.
Big switch from Wyke. Cragwell heads it down. Etu picks it up for the Rowdies. Out wide for Armin. Armin's cross to the far post. LaCava gets a touch to it. It'll go out for the goal kick. There's a substitute now to be made. And so Armin's the one coming off.
Yeah, Armin, he's pretty dangerous here tonight coming up that left side. Obviously a player with a ton of quality, ton of support here today, coming back home. And Sebastian Guenzati comes in here today, and this is going to be a player you have to lock in on. If you look at this attack, Leo Fernandez, Guenzati, LaCava, and Kosana, pretty dangerous if you ask me.
Guenzati, a Flushing, Queens native.
And there's a player I did play with at the Cosmos.
As that ball's knocked over the top. Guenzati, 10 goals in 81 appearances for the Cosmos. How many goals did you score?
I don't think I had a goal.
Oh, interesting.
That's okay. But I tell you what, Sebastian Guenzati, he was an absolute handful to deal with every day in training. So physical, makes really intelligent runs, and just is a gamer.
Emko Sana now looking to set him up. His cross played in, knocked down by LaCava, and he can't wrap his foot around that shot.
Oh, a moment that Jake LaCava has been dreaming about here in this match. Comes down to his left foot, a goal that we've seen him score 100 times. Just can't wrap his foot correctly around that one, just gets it a little bit off and puts it out in the netting behind the goal.
So the Rowdies came out, dominated early in this game. Red Bulls found their feet midway through the first half. They get the goal from Jeremy Raffanello in stoppage time of that first half. You'd say the stronger performance for Red Bulls, too, to open this second half. But now the substitutes have shifted the momentum once again. And the Rowdies, after the equalizer, they're searching for the winner. LaCava, collision with Castillo. Pendant comes back to win it. And Marcucci blasts this one up the field. Williams picks up the second ball. Interception by Wyke. And Wyke thought that he'd won the throw-in for the Rowdies. And Connor, now all those half chances or full chances in transition for the Red Bulls that they didn't take advantage, it starts to come back to haunt you.
Yeah, that's absolutely the case. And I think you have to be more clinical, especially playing against a team like this where you know these players are going to come into the match with fresh legs and be so dangerous. You have to take advantage of those opportunities. And unfortunately, New York Red Bull 2 hadn't done so early in this match, but still some time to play for and get an opportunity of their own.
It looks like the Red Bulls, too, are preparing Michael Knapp to come on as a substitute. So we'll see if that's a formation change or a like-for-like change. It's Castillo, or Conte, excuse me, heads that one into the ground. Murphy losing the ball, and Kosana on the run. Now Etu into space, 1v1 for Etu, the tackle from behind. And a penalty kick conceded by Conte.
Ooh, I don't know about that one, Dave. I don't think so. I think Conte did a very good job of coming around that play and getting a tackle in on the ball. Etu with just a fantastic run coming forward. Let's take a peek at this. No, for me, that's all ball.
Yeah.
For me, that's all ball, and I think that's just so unfortunate for New York Red Bull 2.
And you see Conte, his frustration. Now Matt Thompson, our head official, is going over to talk to his assistant referee who was on top of that play. Let's see what they say. It felt like an anticipatory call of you think Conte is going to go through to save the play. And let's see what the conversation is here as Conte's back up on his feet. And so Matt Thompson talked to his assistant referee, and it looks like the frustration from the Rowdies, he's going to call this one off.
Yeah. Honestly, rightfully so. I think rightfully so. I think that was the correct decision. I think Lamine Conte did a fantastic job of doing everything he could, and you get the boos from the Rowdy fans here. Obviously, they're not happy with it.
And one of the frustrations for the Rowdies then is what would have the live play led to if you hadn't killed the play with the call and then it becomes a drop ball to New York. You could say, I think the handball against Castillo, probably a better claim for a penalty than what it ended up being in this one. And then taken back as we enter 4 minutes minimum of stoppage time. Adebayo Smith on the counterattack. His cross knocked down. Williams with the shot, and he pulls it wide.
Oh my goodness, this is madness. Dave, this is madness. Sam Williams puts himself in such a good opportunity. I think he could have even taken another touch and buried it. Takes it first time and just pulls it wide. But Jordan Adebayo Smith, what a run.
Williams has never scored a professional goal. A golden chance there. Can he help set one up now? Sirwada under pressure, and he can't keep possession for New York. Substitute coming now. It will be Michael Knapp coming on for Steven Sirwada. So the last of that starting midfield taken off. And you can see it all with Sirwada. The burst, the touch, his ability to press. He just hasn't dominated a game yet.
Agreed. I think he's got all the tools to be so successful in this system. And obviously, you're not getting called to the full national team by not being a quality player. But I think he almost is a player they should find more in build-up because he's got that quality that you need in a team like this when you're pressing for so long. A guy who can keep the ball, who can connect plays going forward. And I think we're going to see him take that next step as this season grows.
Just 20 years old getting those call-ups is Adebayo Smith now. Another chance for him. Adebayo Smith, his early shot, and he doesn't get all of it.
Again, some of the decision-making in the final third. There's opportunities. I think you continue to make that run. If you're not going to play Jeremy Raffanello, go yourself. Get a little bit closer, because this try to beat the goalkeeper from that angle. It's going to be tough, and you're going to expecting really a worldie of a goal.
The Rowdies bench thought that ball had rolled out against New York. Now Guenzotti keeping the attack alive. Fernandez to his left foot, and Marcucci able to clean it up.
This is the match we've been looking for. Leo Fernandez, another good opportunity. AJ Marcucci up to the task yet again. And this has been, I wish this would have been the entire match. I mean, this is just wild.
And it started this way. Both teams pushing for a win rather than trying to stay safe. Then they fell into a lull in the middle of the game, and now back alive here as Leo Fernandez equalized in the 85th minute. The penalty kick called back off here in the 89th minute. And both these teams are looking for a winner.
And I love that. I love that. I think if you're on the flip side of things, that for New York Red Bull too, I think you could be trying to get a result here, because it would be a good result at home. But they are going for a win, which I love. And I think Gary Lewis, they're so desperate to get that first home win. On the flip side, obviously Tampa Bay Rowdies coming in expecting to get a win here, doing everything in their power to do so.
Guillen with the long drive. M. Kosana trying to pressure this one. Marcucci will take it into his hands. You've got to think there might be even more time added to this 4 minutes, as that penalty kick stoppage sort of entered in to the start of stoppage time.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see some additional here.
Long punt. Raffanello battling with Wyke. Wyke doing everything he can just to put it out of play. It's a throw in here for New York. Is there another chance in this one? Raffanello, the opening goal off that deflected free kick. The native son, Leo Fernandez, with the equalizer. Hurting Red Bulls too once again for the Rowdies.
Of course, just as I say, that both teams are going for the win. I'm going to eat my words here as New York Red Bull 2 is looking to close this game off. I think the addition of Michael Knapp into it solidify things defensively. Obviously, a guy with a ton of bite who can break up plays, especially big transition moments. But I think there's definitely an opportunity here. Not much time.
Castillo under pressure. Fires it into the feet of Pendant. Raffanello now in some space. Raffanello's cross is blocked, and it'll roll out for a deep throw in here for New York. Is there one more chance in this one for a winner? New York Red Bulls 2 still without a home victory this season. And that'll be the final whistle. The stoppage time goal in the first half from Raffanello. 85th minute for Leo Fernandez in the second half. The first result for New York Red Bulls 2, the first goal here at home, but it is not the winner they were looking for, as the Tampa Bay Rowdies show why they are one of the top teams still in the USL Championship. We'll be back in just a moment with all your post-game coverage here from MSU Soccer Park.
Add drama to every drive. The exhilarating Audi SUV family.
In 2020, in the very beginning, we had people banging pots and pans outside. This time around, I've had people spit at me. I've had people scream at me.
People just don't understand it unless you're there.
I come into work just wanting to help my patients.
We are building our team back again, and we are building it back stronger and stronger.
You really love what you do, so you stick to it.
New York Red Bulls 2 against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. A good homecoming for many of the Rowdies players, including Leo Fernandez with the equalizing goal, as David Goss and Connor Lade with you for this one. And Connor, 1-1, not a winner, but maybe one of the best soccer games we've seen all year.
Yeah, I think the performance from New York Red Bull 2 was the most promising that we've seen all year. Tampa Bay Rowdies, I'm sure they'll go away disappointed not to get a result, but it fit up to the billing of a New York Tampa Bay Rowdies match. And I think I think both sides are going to walk away disappointed here today, and which is a good thing, I guess, for a viewer out there. You got exciting, you got, you know, end-to-end action to finish the match. I think it's going to be a gut punch for New York, though, in the end, not to get their first home goal of the match.
Yeah, the two players on loan, Adebayo Smith trying to score against his current team that he's on loan from, and LaCava, currently a Red Bull MLS player on loan with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. But as Connor said, end-to-end action, an incredible game between these two teams in a perfect setting. Red Bull Sioux head on the road to Detroit City in their next game. And for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, it only gets more difficult. They head to Memphis in their next game before hosting Landon Donovan and the San Diego Loyal. As you take a look at our equalizing goal here, Connor, and Red Bull Sioux, they pushed to double the lead, to go for the win, but the substitutes off the bench were too much.
Yeah, something we didn't talk about in the build-up was that ball from Hilton to Connor Antley. What a ball to put him in and really set up this opportunity. And Leo Fernandez, he gets in a position like that, you know that ball's hitting the back of the net. And unfortunate for New York Red Bull too, giving away the equalizing goal for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Made all the right decisions, Neil Collins did, to affect the game and get them a result in the end. And I think both performances to build on for both clubs.
Fantastic game, fantastic performance. 1 point for these two teams to take home with them. Thank you so much to all of you out there for joining us. Myself, David Goss, my partner, Connor Layden, everyone here on our broadcast. Have a great weekend, everyone, and enjoy the USL Championship action.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.